Good morning. Let me ask you something personal. Do you ever wake up feeling like you're already behind? Before your feet even hit the floor, there's that familiar, unwelcome guest, a deep, bone-weary fatigue. It's not the kind of tired that a good night's sleep can fix. It's a heavy blanket that smothers your energy, fogs your thinking, and whispers that today will be a struggle. You might chalk it up to just getting older, but what if it's not? What if that mid-morning crash, that frustrating brain fog, and even that stubborn weight that seems to cling to your middle isn't an inevitable part of aging? What if it's being triggered every single day by the very first decision you make? We're often told to worry about dinner or lunch, but the real battlefield for your daily health, for your vitality, is the breakfast table. The wrong choice here doesn't just spoil your morning. It sets off a chain reaction that can fuel inflammation, drain your energy, and rob you of the vibrant life you deserve. In this video, we're going to uncover the truth. I'll show you the 3 breakfast foods you absolutely must eat to reclaim your energy, and the 3 you should never touch again. It's a frustrating cycle, and you are not alone in this. Before we dive into the first food on our list, if you're looking for a community that understands these challenges, consider subscribing. And tell me in the comments below, what is the one health concern you're most focused on right now? Your answers help us all learn together. Now, let's start with the food that many of us believe is healthy, but is secretly sabotaging our mornings. The first breakfast food we absolutely must talk about is one that lines entire aisles of the grocery store, often masquerading as a healthy choice. It's the classic, convenient, and deeply comforting bowl of breakfast cereal. But I'm here to tell you, for most of us over 60, many of these boxes are a trap. I'm not just talking about the colorful, frosted flakes aimed at children. I'm talking about many of the so-called adult cereals, the bran flakes, the granola clusters, the heart-healthy options that are secretly loaded with sugar. Let's pull back the curtain and understand why. When you eat a bowl of most commercial cereals, you're essentially starting your day with a spoonful of sugar, often highly processed and stripped of its natural fiber. Your body digests these refined carbohydrates incredibly quickly. Imagine it like lighting a piece of paper on fire. You get a big, bright flash of flame, a huge, fast spike in your blood sugar, and then it's gone. In response to this sudden flood of sugar, your pancreas goes into overdrive, releasing a hormone called insulin. Insulin's job is to grab all that sugar from your blood and move it into your cells for energy. But it often overcompensates, pulling too much sugar out of your bloodstream. And this is where the trouble begins. Around 10 or 11 in the morning, you experience the crash. It's that sudden wave of fatigue, the irritability, the brain fog where you can't seem to find the right word. You might feel a desperate craving for another quick energy hit, like a cookie or a piece of toast. It's a vicious cycle. You feel drained and you blame yourself, your age, your willpower. But it's not you. It's a biochemical roller coaster started by your breakfast. Over years, this daily spike and crash cycle can contribute to chronic inflammation and increase your risk for insulin resistance, which is a stepping stone to type 2 diabetes. The convenience is simply not worth the price your body pays. So, the next time you're in the cereal aisle, I want you to become a detective. Ignore the flashy health claims on the front of the box. Turn it over and look at the nutrition label. If you see sugar, high fructose corn syrup, honey, or any word ending in "ose" listed in the first 3 ingredients, put it back on the shelf. It's not breakfast, it's dessert in a box. This processed sugar rush is bad enough, but our next food to avoid combines it with unhealthy fats to create a double threat for your health. And that brings us to our second breakfast food to avoid, which delivers a devastating 1-2 punch of sugar and unhealthy fats. I'm talking about the entire tempting display at the coffee shop or the grocery store bakery. The donuts, the croissants, the danishes, and yes, even most commercially made muffins, which are often just cupcakes without the frosting. These foods are perhaps the single worst way you can start your day. First, let's talk about the sheer volume of sugar. A single glazed donut or a large blueberry muffin can contain more sugar than a can of soda. So, you're getting that same dramatic blood sugar spike and the inevitable energy-sapping crash we just discussed. Only this time it's even more intense. But it's the second part of the punch that does a different kind of damage: the fats. These pastries are typically made with the cheapest, most inflammatory fats available: refined vegetable oils, shortenings, or partially hydrogenated oils which contain trans fats. Think of inflammation in your body, particularly in your joints, as a smoldering fire. Eating these fats is like pouring gasoline on it. They actively promote the body's inflammatory pathways, which can worsen the pain and stiffness of arthritis and make every movement feel more difficult. On a cellular level, these unhealthy fats damage the membranes of your cells. Imagine trying to build a strong house with brittle, crumbling bricks. That's what you're doing to your body's trillions of cells. They can't communicate properly, they can't take in nutrients effectively, and they can't protect themselves from damage. This accelerates the aging process and undermines your health from the inside out. I know the allure. You're in line for a coffee, and that warm, buttery croissant is calling your name. It feels like a small, harmless indulgence, a little reward. But let's reframe that. You experience 5 minutes of pleasure, followed by hours of feeling sluggish, bloated, and foggy. You've essentially taken out a high-interest loan against your afternoon's energy and your long-term joint health. The joy is fleeting, but the physiological debt is real. You haven't rewarded yourself. You've sabotaged the very vitality you were hoping to enjoy. Avoiding sugary cereals and pastries might seem straightforward enough, but our third and final food to avoid is far more deceptive. It hides in plain sight, often praised as a sensible, low-fat option, and it's a staple in millions of households. Our third breakfast food to avoid is perhaps the most surprising of all because it's often seen as the sensible, responsible choice. It's the bagel. Specifically, the big, fluffy, white flour bagel that has become a breakfast institution. It's not dripping with sugar like a donut or brightly colored like a kid's cereal, so we assume it's a better option. But in metabolic terms, your body can't tell much of a difference. Here's the scientific reason why, explained simply. It's all about something called the glycemic index, which is just a fancy way of measuring how quickly a food raises your blood sugar. A plain white bagel has one of the highest glycemic index ratings of any food, even higher than a candy bar in some cases. When you eat one, your digestive system breaks down those refined starches into sugar with breathtaking speed. One single, large bagel can have the same impact on your blood sugar as eating 4 or 5 slices of plain white bread. It is a concentrated brick of fast-releasing carbohydrates. The problem is what I call the naked carb effect. The bagel offers almost no fiber, no healthy fat, and no significant protein to slow down this process. It hits your system all at once, leading to that massive insulin surge and the subsequent energy crash we've become all too familiar with. To make matters worse, what do we typically spread on it? Low-fat cream cheese. We've been conditioned to fear fat, but when food manufacturers remove fat, they often add fillers, gums, and other additives to make it palatable. So you're pairing a nutrient-poor carbohydrate with a nutrient-poor spread. Imagine this scenario. You have a toasted bagel for breakfast. It feels substantial, it fills your stomach, and for about an hour, you feel fine. Then, you sit down to pay some bills or read a book, and a strange feeling creeps in. It's a nagging, hollow hunger, even though you just ate. You feel irritable and unfocused. That's your body sending a desperate signal. It's saying, "You filled me up, but you didn't feed me." It's a profound feeling of being full but not nourished, and it drives you to snack all morning long, searching for the energy your breakfast failed to provide. Now that we have a clear understanding of what to push off our plates, it's time for the empowering part. Let's pivot from what drains our energy to what builds it. We're going to start with a true breakfast champion, a humble grain that has the power to fundamentally change the way you feel all day long. So, let's turn the page and begin building the perfect breakfast. The first food you absolutely must incorporate into your morning routine is a warm, wonderful bowl of oatmeal. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Oatmeal? That's so plain, so old-fashioned. But please, stay with me, because the science behind this humble grain is truly remarkable, especially for a body over 60. And I'm not talking about those little instant packets filled with sugar and artificial flavors. We're talking about real, old-fashioned rolled oats, or even better, steel-cut oats. The magic of oatmeal lies in a special type of soluble fiber called beta-glucan. If the sugar in cereal is like a piece of paper that flashes and burns out, beta-glucan is like a dense, slow-burning log in a fireplace. When you eat it, this fiber absorbs water in your digestive tract and forms a thick, gel-like substance. This gel does three incredible things. First, it physically slows down the digestion and absorption of carbohydrates, which means no blood sugar spike and no subsequent crash. Your energy is released slowly and steadily, like a time-release capsule, carrying you smoothly all the way to lunch. Second, this gel acts like a sponge for cholesterol, binding to it in your gut and helping to escort it out of your body before it can be absorbed into your bloodstream. It's one of nature's most effective tools for managing cholesterol. And third, it feeds the good bacteria in your gut, supporting a healthy microbiome, which we now know is linked to everything from our immune system to our mood. Let's imagine a different kind of morning. You have a bowl of slow-cooked oatmeal, maybe with a sprinkle of cinnamon. By 10:30 a.m., instead of feeling foggy and reaching for a biscuit, you feel clear. You're in the garden, or you're focused on your crossword puzzle, or you're playing on the floor with your grandkids, and you suddenly realize you haven't thought about food once. You feel a sense of calm, stable energy. That's not just a feeling, it's a biological reality. You are no longer a passenger on a blood sugar roller coaster. You are in the driver's seat of your own energy. To make it a true powerhouse, never eat it plain. Supercharge your oatmeal by stirring in a spoonful of chopped walnuts or chia seeds for healthy fats and a bit of protein, and top it with a handful of fresh berries for a burst of antioxidants. This simple act transforms your breakfast from just fuel into a powerful, proactive tool for your health. But while this steady energy is a game changer, our bodies need more than just good fuel. They need building blocks, especially as we age, to maintain our strength and our independence. And that brings us to our second essential breakfast food. Our second must-eat breakfast food directly addresses one of the most significant and often silent threats to our independence as we age: muscle loss. The food is the humble, incredibly versatile egg. For decades, eggs were unfairly villainized, blamed for high cholesterol. But thankfully, science has progressed, and we now understand that for most of us, eating eggs does not significantly raise blood cholesterol. In fact, they are one of the most perfect foods you can eat, especially for breakfast. Here's why. After the age of 50, we all begin to experience a process called sarcopenia, which is the gradual loss of muscle mass, strength, and function. It's the reason why opening a tight jar becomes a struggle, why getting up from a low chair requires more effort, and why our balance can feel less certain. Sarcopenia is a primary driver of frailty and a major risk factor for falls. The single most powerful weapon we have against it is protein, and eggs are a gold standard. They are packed with high-quality, complete protein, meaning they contain all 9 essential amino acids, the fundamental building blocks your body cannot make on its own. Think of it this way. Your muscles are in a constant state of being broken down and rebuilt. When you're young, the rebuilding process easily keeps up. As we get older, the breakdown process gets the upper hand. Eating sufficient protein, especially at the start of the day, is like sending a fresh crew of expert masons to a construction site. It provides the exact materials needed to repair the daily wear and tear and maintain that strong, functional muscle tissue. Beyond protein, egg yolks are one of the richest sources of a nutrient called choline, which is vital for brain health. Choline helps build cell membranes and is critical for memory and mood regulation, directly fighting back against that frustrating brain fog. Let's revisit that morning feeling. Imagine getting out of bed and, instead of feeling stiff and weak, you feel capable. You confidently lift a heavy watering can for your plants or carry the laundry basket downstairs without a second thought. That sense of physical self-reliance isn't a matter of luck. It's a direct result of feeding your muscles the raw materials they need to stay strong. A breakfast of 2 scrambled or poached eggs provides a powerful dose of these building blocks, setting your body up for a day of repair, not decline. So now we have our slow-burning fuel from the oatmeal and the essential building blocks from the eggs. This combination alone is fantastic. But to truly create a shield for your body, we need to add one more element. We need to actively protect our cells from the daily onslaught of damage. We need nature's own defense force. And that brings us to our final, vibrant addition to the perfect breakfast plate. Our third and final must-eat breakfast food is what I call nature's defense force. It's the vibrant, delicious, and powerful family of berries. I'm talking about blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, and blackberries. We often think of these as a simple, sweet topping, but I want you to start thinking of them as your daily dose of cellular protection. They are a non-negotiable part of an anti-aging breakfast. To understand why, we need to talk about a process happening inside every one of us, every second of the day. It's called oxidative stress. The easiest way to think about it is like rusting. Just as a piece of metal rusts and weakens when exposed to oxygen, our cells can get rusted from the inside by unstable molecules called free radicals. These free radicals are natural byproducts of metabolism, but they're also generated by stress, pollution, and poor diet. They bounce around inside our bodies, damaging cells, DNA, and tissues. This cellular rust is a major driver of aging, contributing to everything from wrinkles and memory loss to heart disease and inflammation. This is where berries come in. They are packed with powerful antioxidants, particularly a group called anthocyanins, which are the very pigments that give them their rich red, blue, and purple colors. These antioxidants are like a potent rust-proofing treatment for your cells. They hunt down and neutralize free radicals before they can do their damage. A breakfast rich in berries is literally helping to protect your brain cells from damage, keeping your blood vessels flexible and healthy, and calming the low-grade inflammation that can make joints ache. Think about it in terms of your mind. That feeling of mental clarity, of being sharp and on top of things, that is the feeling of a brain that is being protected. When you consistently provide your body with these antioxidants, you're not just hoping for a good day. You are actively building a more resilient brain and a more resilient body. It's a simple handful of berries, but the impact is profound. Fresh or frozen, it doesn't matter. The nutrients are locked in. A generous scoop on your oatmeal or alongside your eggs is one of the easiest and most delicious investments you can make in your long-term vitality. So now we see the full picture. It's not just about avoiding the bad. It's about intentionally choosing the good. We've taken apart the anatomy of a disastrous breakfast and assembled the blueprint for a perfect one. So, let's step back and look at the whole story. What we've uncovered today is that breakfast is not just a meal, it's a strategic decision. It's the moment you choose the trajectory for your entire day. On one path, there is the sugary cereal, the inflammatory pastry, the empty bagel, a path that leads to a roller coaster of energy crashes, brain fog, and a body that feels older than it should. But there is another path, and it is entirely within your control. It's the path of slow-burning fuel from oatmeal, the strength-building protein from eggs, and the cellular protection from vibrant berries. This isn't a diet of deprivation. It is a breakfast of intention. It's about choosing to build yourself up, not tear yourself down. Every morning, you have the power to choose strength over weakness, clarity over fog, and stable, all-day vitality over a fleeting sugar rush. That is the real power of a good breakfast. If this conversation has empowered you to take back your mornings, please give this video a like so that more people in our community can find this vital information. And be sure to subscribe for more practical, honest advice for living your most vibrant life. Thank you for your time today. Take good care, and I'll see you in the next video.